Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kayla Rochelle. If this is my first time meeting you, welcome to the channel. I want to break the video down into two parts. The first part will include 3 steps that you can follow. The second part will include tips and tricks that you can do to help boost your self-esteem and have healthier confidence. I also want to put a plug in this video as an extension of my trauma series. Be sure to watch that playlist at the end of this video. But if you're a person who's come from a background of trauma, where you want to strengthen your level of confidence despite the trauma in your past, this is the video for you. Step 1 includes being more mindful and having greater insight into your thought life. I want to challenge you and see if you can recognize what your thoughts are like. When you think about times where you've encountered negative self-talk or you're starting to wonder what it is that people might view you as, there's some interesting things happening in your thought life at that point. Maybe take some notes about this and really challenge yourself to sit with this question. Why do people's opinions of you truly matter? I think another way of really looking at that is there's something that you want to depict. What is it that you are wanting people to see you as? I want to move on to step number 2, which is basically challenging your negative thoughts. Now, when you think about negative self-talk, an example could include, I'm not good enough. I want to encourage you to recognize if that line of thinking, whatever your negative thought is, if that's a type of distortion. Cognitive behavioral therapy outlines that there are 10 different cognitive distortions. I want to encourage you to see if you can identify if any of these 10 distortions are something that's in play. When you think about the negative thought that you had, I also want to encourage you to accept that that is something that you care about. Hey, I wanted to pause on the video really quick and draw attention to what might have happened. When you heard the words, accept that you care about it, did you notice what might have happened in your body? Recognize that. That might be a sign that you truly do care about some of these thoughts that you're thinking. And just simply accepting that goes a long way. All right, let's get back to it. If you can recognize that you're operating out of a cognitive distortion, that would tell you whether or not you're stuck in this sort of thinking trap. So if you've ever thought to yourself, I'm not good enough, I want to ask you the question, what makes you think that? Let's examine some evidence right now, right? I like to use a court analogy. If I was being charged a major crime and I had to appear in court and a witness was called to the stand and that person basically said that she looks like the person who did it. What would the judge do with that piece of evidence? I would hope toss it out. And so instead, the judge would look for concrete evidence that really would point toward why I would be guilty of that alleged crime. Why can't our thoughts be treated the same? If we just said to ourselves, I'm not good enough, and someone accused me of saying, well, you look like somebody who's not good enough. Now hold on. Let's kind of apply what we do in the legal justice system to our line of thinking. Why am I not good enough? Is that because I've made mistakes however many times in 1 week? Let yourself off a thought that you cannot provide evidence for. Leads us to step number 3. Instead, reframe the thought. In step 3, we can adjust our thinking based on those pieces of evidence. Instead of overgeneralizing and saying, my entire life is crap, or my entire life is horrible, why don't we really focus on the parts that are horrible? What parts of your life really do feel like crap? And let's be honest with ourselves, because it is in those moments that really lead us to thinking a certain thought. I want to coach you on overgeneralizing less and adjust your thinking. Identify the very specific thing that's causing you trouble, and then rephrase the thought based on that. Instead of saying my entire life is horrible, maybe it's, I'm just not good at school. It's a lot harder to improve your entire life in this example, instead of the one thing that's making you feel negative. So the lesson here is really adjust your thinking based on the evidence that you've gathered. What specific area can you really point towards needing change? Now to probably one of my more favorite parts of this video, part 2. I want to give you just some simple tips and tricks that you can start to incorporate today to help boost your confidence and your overall self-esteem. Tip number 1 is to take inventory of your thoughts. Are you anything like me where it's easy to point out the wrong? I know, kind of hard to admit, right? Are you like me where you find it easy to point out the challenges and things that need to improve? There's redemption in that. That just goes to show that you're really good at improving things or ways to make things better, right? So don't come down too hard on yourself. The tip here that I wanted to share is to take inventory. Can you shift your focus on some of the things that is going well? Can you focus on some of the things that are going right in your life? How much better do you feel when you can identify things that are going well, things that you're proud of, things that you feel accomplished and that you can check off the list? This is a time that you can do that. Take care of yourself. What I'm talking about is to really cherish some of the things that you worry about. If you incorporate self-care into your normal routine, you're likely to decrease the negative thinking in your day-to-day. And you even build self-worth. Some practical tips for self-care include detoxing from social media. We all know the guise of social media and how toxic it can be. Unplug from it. Treat yourself to a nourishing meal. Research shows the Mediterranean diet is likely to decrease anxiety and depression. There's something to it, to treating your body to a nourishing meal. Your body is created to function off of optimal foods. Give your body what it needs. Last tip for self-care is to practice self-compassion, right? I know that this might be a tricky one. You've probably heard it, but do you know what it sounds like? Probably not. I want to make this practical for you. Self-compassion is really the times where if you've ever set out a goal for yourself and you have not met that goal yet, that is an example. When you use the word yet, or when you imply that there's still continuation, right? Like you may have made a mistake, but you still see yourself as a work in progress. That's self-compassion. And then lastly, try naming something that you're truly proud of that you accomplished. Tip number 3, spend time with people that you love. There's something to it that when you spend time with people that you love and care about and they speak encouragement into you, they, be your little cheerleader, they root you on, they celebrate your successes, right? Instead of be jealous over them. Get you around a circle of friends, a tribe, a group of people who can do that for you, right? Being around people with positive characteristic traits like that is contagious. Get you around people who genuinely love you, care for you, support you, and want to see your success. Tip number 4, do what brings you joy. Do what brings you joy. Now, I love to paint. I paint with oils, I paint with acrylics, and when I have time, that's the lesson. Here's a lesson for you. Make time for things that you genuinely enjoy. These are things that make you feel good about yourself. These are opportunities for you to discover new hobbies. These are chances for you to see that you can develop a new skill. And then what you do with that skill can lead you on to this next thing in your life and maybe help you discover a new passion. Spend time to prioritize something that you truly enjoy. Last but not least is the baby steps. Focus on making change one step at a time. Self-compassion will remind you that you're not going to reach your goals after day 1. You don't get the kind of body that you want by going to the gym for one day. It takes consistency time and time again. Darren Hardy wrote the book titled The Compound Effect. It's a popular read that basically says that if a person makes small, incremental, and consistent changes, it will lead to massive results. The drawback is that these small, consistent decisions are typically undesirable. But the main takeaway is that if you contribute work consistently over time, these decisions will produce massive results. So I want to encourage you that if you're on your journey taking baby steps towards change, pick up the book, The Compound Effect. I'll leave a link in my description if that's something that you're interested in. In reality, I'm not sponsored in any way. I just think that it's a good read. It's certainly given me a new perspective on the kind of decisions that I make. In total, I hope that this video was something that you enjoyed. I know this is something that I was really looking forward to making. If you got any like out of this video, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share this. If this content is going to be helpful for somebody that you know, please share it. And I'll see you in the next one.